Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to CCXRC. Today is an exciting morning for all of us who like the mini scale RCs because Axial just dropped a brand new one on us this morning, which we were kind of hoping for when we saw the teaser shot. The King of RC thought for sure it was going to be 1/19th scale, but turns out it is 1/24 scale, which is even better for those of us who are really into that platform. And they did a couple things that I'm really excited about that we're going to talk about this morning. I think there's a lot of wins with this platform because it is different than the SCX24. So it'll definitely have a draw for maybe a different crowd even than the SCX24 did, because it's definitely focused more on performance than scale realism. And I say that cautiously because one of the things that people use for not wanting these type of crawlers in competitions is that it isn't scale, which isn't true if you really look at scale rock crawling competitions and what those rigs look like. So I don't buy that anymore. Like, if people want to use that as an excuse for not doing them in competitions, that's BS, because they definitely comp things like this that are four steer and crazy buggies and all kinds of craziness. So don't give us that anymore. We're tired of it. You can want your scale stuff all you want as far as scale realism to like a 1-to-1 that you daily drive, but that's not a reason to say that these aren't scale for competition use. So that said, welcome everybody. The right one, Joe Girding, Pika Rods. Oh, that would have been awesome too. He was hoping for a 24 honcho. Man, we can dream. I'm still hoping, even though they said it never happened for SCX24 Unimog. I think they'd sell. They don't agree, but yeah, I love that another company did come out with a Unimog style caged rear 18 scale. But yeah, Hobby Plus, thank you very much for that. But yeah, scale means built like the full sized, Philip Bender says. Yeah, and there's a lot of things that are built like that. Philip Bender, you don't know what you're talking about. There's a ton of stuff that are built caged and for steer for rock crawling. I guess it's not scale in that it's not caged, but I mean, there's a lot in an SCX24 that isn't scale if you really want to get down to it, especially a Bronco. The Broncos aren't running independent suspension. The way that they're laid out, there's no floor pans and there's no like whole bunch of crap that's not in them. So they're not technically scale. So this would be compared to like a rock buggy or rock bouncer or four steer type vehicle that they go all out on and build. So, they throw a plastic body over a vertical plate chassis and call it good enough. But what it's doing is actually more scale to a lot of rock crawling than what we're doing with the competitions with some of our other stuff. So I just don't believe that it's a good reason to say it's not scale for comping. So yeah, I think they are. It's 19th scale. King of RC already told us what's going on. What's in the box? Brandon Wilson, I'm with you. Give me that four-wheel steer goodness. Four steel, blue steel. Yeah. Hey, Courtney Ipple, how are you doing? Shouldn't you be in class? Anyway, so I'm excited about it. We'll talk about the reasons why. I think one of the biggest things that I'm excited about is that they kept most of the platform, at least drivetrain wise, the same. So we'll have upgrades straight away for our axles. We'll have overdrive gear sets. We'll have all that kind of stuff that we can just drop in that's already been around for the SCX24. We can drop into this AX24 platform and be in a good spot. So what's going on, Commander Estig, Curtis Williams? So let's pull it up here. Let's take a look. I've got it kind of set up in here already on the Axial site, so we can just kind of quickly look at it. I normally would be a green guy. I just kind of wish Axial put more green into the green models, but they don't. So I have to like the orange better this time, apparently. Um, yeah. So it does definitely have a rock buggy look to it, and long shocks, 51 millimeter. They're still running the exact same servos. The servo mount is different because they have a different link setup in it for giving you that crazy flex, and it's more like the original one. But I definitely the orange one appeals to me more. It's just bright and you know in your face. So um, looking at it, it has the new radio, which is an older radio, but it's a new ESC combo for this 24 scale platform, which is good. I don't dislike the V2s that come with the SCX24. This definitely serves a purpose in that they need the other channels for doing the four-wheel steer. The four-wheel steer being one of my favorite parts and additions to this, because it's been something hard for us to like. Some of us want to use it in competitions, but so far, it's not been something that we've had a class for. I think this is going to open the door for it, and it's going to make it that much more interesting because it's totally different driving style, and yeah, it opens up some options. It's going to make getting through gates a whole lot more interesting and fun, and um, I think that this is going to be more competitive out of the box as far as a class goes. So you don't have to. You take an SCX24, and right now, if you're doing our comps with them, you're winching everything or rolling over trying to get through gates because they just are tippy. There's nothing else about it unless you put some work into setting it up. They're tippy, and this looks like it's gonna definitely be better. um, Sergeant JRC, so I can take my deadbolt parts and throw them on it. Yes, some. I think you'll be able to do like your steering links, your diff covers, your axles, your overdrive gears, certain motors, same transmission. So certain motors that'll fit. That's going to be the tricky thing is that this chassis. I'm sure people will come up with aftermarket chassis that will allow for bigger motors that we're seeing, like from Mofo RC and from Furatech with the bigger pancake size. They'll probably have cutouts or different things that allow those to ride in there, but I don't see how they'd fit currently in this system. So that's going to be one of the things. Um, so it's definitely, I mean, when we put these bigger wheels on, we're cutting the snot out of our trucks like this anyway. Um, so yeah, I'm surprised honestly at the price point that they're able to bring it in at 160 with the nicer radio, in my opinion, and it's four-wheel steer. The front axles cost more. There's more moving parts, and there's an extra servo, and yet they brought it in at 160. I thought it would be more than that, considering the upgrades to it. But I'm excited about that. That's not a bad price point to land this in, and so good on them for that. Tires look interesting, yes, and they're big. So we've been going bigger and bigger with our comp trucks. 55 millimeters and, all different. Enjora's got some bigger ones that they've got even. Little Guy Racing Parts has a ton of like larger size wheels or tires. They're 1-inch rims, but taller wheel or tires. Man, I have a hard time getting that right. I just wanted to say wheels for like the whole thing, but the tires being a taller and they're better for comping. Just these look like out of the box, they're going to give people better performance. And that's what this truck's all about. And that's technically what comp trucks are about is performance, oversized tires, crazy suspension, four-wheel steer. Yes, they have a cage, most of them, and not all this fairing that this has on it. But this is going more toward that type of a buggy, rock buggy. Good afternoon from the Netherlands, CBRC and truck video. Dave 4130 says looks like a fun little rig. Chainsaw says not interested in this one, would never get into 124s or never could get into. Yeah, it's been something that took me a minute to get into, but once I did, I'm all in for him, man. Like I'm selling my 110 scale crawlers. I'll keep one or two. for myself, and yeah, but I'm getting rid of a bunch, and I'm gonna have a custom one made by Pablo for me that I'm gonna base off an Axial, so I can run it at Badlands and stuff like that. But we don't really run the 124s or 110s here very much. I haven't found places to go out with people on trails and just walk in trail, and it's just been different than in Virginia, where I had places where we just go out and run them. So that's kind of one of the difference. Yes, still 1.0 rims, I believe. Did they say they were beadlocks or not? I already watched like 3 videos on it. I watched First Harley Designs, very thorough. Sorry, I'm gonna have some coffee. It's still morning for me. Um, I watched Scale Builders Guild, totally different video, and RC Driver, who started right away outside with it. It looked, one of my worries after watching Harley's video, Harley Designs, Josh's video, was that there wasn't going to be room for a bigger motor, and he was talking about how, how much you have to pull, and the one thing is the motor felt a little underpowered for him. And I was like, well, I wonder if we can get like a baby Goliath in there stock and keeping it mostly stock. And it looks like, going through the pictures here, I was trying to peep in here, and it definitely looks like we're going to open this in a new tab, and hopefully it'll let us zoom in on it some. Nope. But if we download it, oh, I can't do it that way. Never mind. Well, let's go back to their photo gallery, because in here we can zoom in a little. How are you all this morning? I think this one. There definitely looks like there's a gap back here that will allow for us to sneak in a little bit longer motor. They're not that much longer. I have some right here to kind of show the comparison. And so that's one of the things that I am excited about, is that they are still running kind of some similar things, which is good. Whoops. So here's a stock motor. And then here is like my baby Goliath motor. So it's not that much longer. So it looks like there's enough room to squeeze this in there. Even in the stock STX24, you have to cut the battery tray to get these in. But the performance upgrade is insane by just adding this motor. And I point this one out. There's other people that make them too, but because this is one that I had made for having good torque and about the same speed. Technically, it's a 52 turn, but it's different. It's like 52,000 RPM, I think. But you're getting just a ton of torque compared to the stock one. What's going on, Brian Koshner? Choice Hobbies, man, these little trucks are super popular. I'd like to see SMT10 V2 someday, something less expensive than the LMT. Yeah, I'm still waiting for them to come out with an LMT Junior or SMT10 Junior, SMT24. Glue on tires. Thank you, Jeremy Burris. I thought they would be. Any idea on the release date? I'm guessing it's going to be February. At this point, usually it's a couple weeks from announcement that they do it. So maybe early to mid-February would be a good guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. The other cool thing is the axles are the same. So I have the baby hippo axles, and a lot of people don't realize it, but I actually sell just singles of the front axles so that people can do forced steer. And I've seen some people buy a full axle kit and then buy this. And I don't know I don't know the reasoning for that. Like, these are, I think, $35 for one front brass axle and brass diff cover. And so to get two of them, $70. So it's $10 more than buying the normal set, which it should be, because of that set, the expensive part is the front axle. And so it's $60 for, a normal axle set, front and rear. With these, I'm doing them so you get them for $70 if you buy two fronts, but they're just sold, just buy two of these if you need to do it. But I see several people buy a complete set and add a front axle. So I'm a little confused by that, because that's the more expensive way to do it. But like straight away, you could add a bunch of weight down low just by adding these. You can add overdrive to the front axles. You could get an overdrive transmission from Hot Racing. There's so many cool upgrades that we have available to us right out of the box. And on top of that, Axial's even releasing brass skid plates, diff covers, brass servo mount. That one looks pretty great. So right out of the box, $21, not bad. Looks chunky. Knuckle weights here you can add over your knuckles, and yeah, here's the actual steering knuckle, brass hubs, all the upgrades readily available straight away from Axial. And they've got other upgrades here as far as side plates for the chassis. See, here's a rear axle assembled. These are plastic and they're $22.99, but you do get the internals. And then they've got screw sets for $27.99. So they've got lots of stuff straight away that you can get for these now tool sets that they sell for working straight on the 24 scale. I hadn't seen that before from Dynamite. 4mm, that's a good little kit. 1.5 and a 1.27 or 0.050 basically. And then yeah, I use the smart charger with this adapter. That's how I run mine for charging, and I do 2 at a time. I got this little dual. I've got the old dual charger. Don't see it anymore. But yeah, so that's cool that there's upgrades straight away for these chassis rails and everything. I can't tell. I thought that they said aluminum. I thought Josh said that. I would guess that these have to be aluminum based on how they're built. And then they've got the little boat sides here that are plastic with the little flip up for the battery. So everything's tucked in there nice and tight. I will probably want to run my 4 steer more independently than they have it set up. I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to have that on a switch where I could either run it on another wheel and control it that way or something. Back to the comments. Axial has so many small scales. A 124 monster truck has to be around the corner. Dave 4130. I think it'd be good. Francois the tank. No. Yes. Yes. I'm so excited about this. Tom Crook from Crooked Mitten RC. Good morning. Square body tiny truck would be nice. A hard body square body truck would be really, really nice. Yeah, price is $160. RC Nixter's at Works. Thanks for stopping to say hello. I got to get to working on some stuff. But honestly, you know, I'm doing this now full time between this and the RC store and then just freelance video work. And I've been putting in so much time on the store stuff. I packaged so many things. In fact, there's a whole bunch of TRX4M new parts, brass links. Brass links add 56 grams of weight. Like picking up that package of brass links for the TRX4M is insane. But I'll be honest, I still like the 24 scale better. I like the size of it. Yeah. So people are going to love it. People are going to hate it. And it's going to be split right down the middle. So many people are going to be pissed. I can't believe Axial's doing another 24 scale. I wanted another full scale from them. I've been waiting for years for them to come out with the exact rig that I've had in my mind this whole time that they should have come out with, and they still haven't come out with it yet. And then there's the rest of us that are like just dropping money on these things left and right and super happy to be doing it. Just like, you know, buying 20 of them. Like I know so many people that have, you know, you buy it. Like I've bought probably 8 of the Jeep and then we just converted. Like they don't have Jeep bodies anymore, but they started as a Jeep because it was a V2 electronic set. And it goes into what I want to talk about in the next podcast, which I'll talk about this and that when I do it. But these things are the new train, you guys. Like the remote or the model trains. This market, these people that are buying these are addicts like model train dudes, and they don't just buy one train to run around their track. They buy multiple, they put hard bodies on some, they make them handle differently, they scale one out. It's heavy and tippy. You set different gates for it. You do some that are competition driven with tires that don't look right on it, but you're going to win because you put the biggest tires on it you can. And, they look like this thing already. Like when we're putting those pro line bodies on it that are pinched front and rear. Can't think of the name of it. Somebody will help me out here in the chat. And then, or even now we're doing the ecto body you can get. In fact, I have one sitting over there to put on one of my trucks to just narrow it up so the tires are sitting outside it just like this. Putting the biggest tires you can fit on it that are still allowed. But yeah, I mean, I see there's gonna be both sides of the fence. Brian Kushner, I agree. The genius of this was staying with the common SCX24 parts, but changing out the chassis, the shocks, more comp driven, bigger tires, like tucked, narrowed up body. And I could see if they do clear bodies of these, people will buy them up to comp out as well. So, but the guys that love their 1/10s are not going to like that Axial dropped this. They're not going to want it regardless, but they're just going to complain about it because it's not what they wanted them to release, and that's going to be what happens. So sorry if you're that person, and you're in here, but hopefully they'll have something new for us. They did just drop that new SCX6. They did drop uh, the base camp kind of last year, so I mean, I feel like they might be up. They did that like anniversary edition. Um, was it C10 uh, thing with Proline? But yeah, it's it's interesting. So I know that I will be buying probably a lot of these as well. And we'll be modding them different. I'm sure FureTech's going to come up with some kind of chassis for them. Mofo is going to come up with stuff for them. There's going to be aftermarket shocks. I'm still curious what Proline's doing with their shocks, um, and if it's going to be if they're going to have a longer version of it too to give us, because this is where we'd really want them to have the oil shocks in something like this and just really creeping it. So we'll see. um Look at FMS. Yeah, FMS is doing a bunch of stuff. They're really dollhouse of it though, um in many ways. But there's also people that have winter. There's a thing called winter, and these are awesome for winter. People going back to the model train thing, the amount of people that you see on YouTube and on forums and everywhere outfitting entire rooms, basements, all that, building indoor courses that are scaled out, details, painted, real rock, real dirt. Some of them are plaster cloth, like I'd done with mine. We're about to build another one, a bigger one here. So we're prepping a room in the back down here in the basement so I can have like a testing platform. I'll incorporate the course I already had, but then expand off it extensively to have some different things to do testing and all that. So one of the things that I was getting ready to do before this even dropped was I have my son's, I should grab a couple. Hold on one second. Let me grab a couple RCs so we can kind of show and talk about some of this stuff. Give me 2 seconds. I'm back. So this is basically doing what they did. Look how much that body is chopped in order to have these big tires on it and all the flex and stuff for comping with. This thing's long shock. These are the 2 millimeters of travel. There's not as much, but yeah, so not far off as far as when you look at the side panels of. Oh, I gotta go back to a body version of this. My internet's going crazy, but these are really chopped up bodies on here. So not far off from what we're already doing, and people are complaining about scale, whatever. We're already kind of really tearing these things up. The chassis are hardly realistic in most of our comp trucks. So, again, the arguments for that kind of stuff are, I, they just glance off me. I don't think anything of it. Cliffhanger, upper left RC. Thank you. I'm just now seeing it. Yeah. RC athletes, could you show the truck more or again? Yes. So here's the green one, orange one. I don't know how far behind I'm in the comments now, but 4 steer, still the same motor, transmission. They changed the motor or the servo plates, but it's the same servo, same link setup. And you get, dual front axles, which is cool. They tuck the body inside these little rock guards or skid plate type things on the side. People call them like boats, but yeah, you can see how they tuck it in. It's supposed to look like probably a cage vehicle with some pieces because you can see there's netting on the top even, and these are supposed to be like openings in it, like it is a cage, but it's not super scale. But it's cheap, and people are probably going to come out with a ton of stuff for these. There will probably be, maybe we would see Furatech coming out with a rock bouncer that'll house all this stuff for it. Who knows? Hey, Dana, what's up? Already on here talking about it. Coffee and RC chat. Easy morning, right? QW runs 6 to 6.5 inch gates. Yes. Snowing down here, 328 RC. Do you have to change or to upgrade axles first before you go rear steer? Not on these. They come with rear steer out of the box. So that's the cool thing. But again, if you want, I was talking with GOM4NGO, GOM4NGO, that I do sell these just singles of front axles, and they're $35. So you can get a whole brass axle set with diff covers. Not the internals, but you can just swap those off the truck for $70. So if you want to add weight down low, don't buy. So like I said, some people are buying the full kit for 60 and then adding this on it. Don't do that. Just buy 2 of these and swap them out. It's $70. Like, it's the easy way to do it. So I don't want to sell them as a pair because some people they already have a set and they want to change it. So just buying them as singles is easier and better. Either way, I'd sell it for $70. So it's 35 each or $70 for 2. But you have to say you want 2. I can't make it easier for you. I'm sorry. Pronounce go, man, go. Oh, well, there you go. Go, man, go. Go, man, go, guy. My guy. Are they calling it a Scorpion body with lizard tires? It does have lizard tires. Yes, it is just like the XC1 AX10 back in the day, came out in 2007. So yes, Lyle, if you've been around that long doing it, you would recognize these. In fact, many people were recognizing the tire on it and thought maybe they were bringing back the AX10, but instead they did it as a 24 scale. Hey, here we go. Troy's Hobby is going to be doing 124 scale monster truck racing for Colorado RC Monster Truck Challenge. That's super cool. The FMS ones are pretty cool out of the box, except you want to have uh, the speed motor in it. Um, Still haven't seen an actual release date yet. Neither have I. I'm guessing it's mid February. That'd be my guess. Yee yee. Good morning, Curtis D. Iowa's snowing too. It was like a mix today, taking the kids to school. Um, but mainly sprinkling. But every once in a while, it looked like it was kind of trying to snow. But yeah, it's the baby scorpion. But again, we've been doing stuff like this with them to make rock buggies. They haven't allowed four-wheel steer, but I think this is actually an awesome platform for doing four-wheel steer and something like this. If we're going to go that direction, because it is the vertical plates, got that buggy kind of look to it, and wouldn't take much to make this very similar to what you're seeing that they're dropping. And you can do brushless motors. However, the V2 doesn't really fit these big Komodos for some reason. The way that they shaped the metal mount hits the Komodos. You got to do the micro Komodo. So I think probably when these hit and a class opens up for steer, I'm probably going to do one of these and make it a four steer. This is the Furatech Scythe chassis, which is actually what I'm running in this, which is a twin kind of vertical plate. It's still kind of a chassis, but it doesn't have that little, it's not about the cage. This one's more about the same setup, but without the tops of anything. So it's a little more open. You can run this one with a body too. It's got the same hinge bracket that for the SCX10 mount here. So you could hinge a body on here and build get rid of this stuff and just kind of build up a magnetic mount for it. But why? They've got the carbon fiber one that is my favorite chassis I've run yet. Still my favorite chassis. But I haven't built my Maz Designs ones yet. I think that's a goal for next week. I have the sacrificial SCX24 sitting on a wall hanger. Better stock servos would have been worth an extra 25. A better motor would have been worth an extra 10. So, but they're going for a baseline. They work out of the box. The servos actually looked pretty good on Josh's video. Like it looked quick. They just don't have when they're up against something. They don't have the ability to move when they have rocks or stuff against them. But yeah, better for me, right? The Honey Badger is a great upgrade that you can put in there. Now you buy two of them instead of just one. Put them on front and rear and good to go, right? So and then the baby Goliath motor looks like it'll fit in there. So that's something I'm gonna do probably straight away is put in this because it's a direct fit to the motor plate. Don't have to make any changes. Brass pinion, and I actually have metal gears for the transmissions coming, so you don't have to buy a whole new transmission. Just put the gears in. And I'm mainly buying them because I have so many stock transmissions. But when we start doing pulling and stuff with them, I have a feeling we're going to start tearing up transmission gears. So I have metal transmission gears, just replacement gears on the way. So yeah, love my baby G and my baby digger. Grizzly Works RC, the servo trays are different, but they still house the same thing. The reason is they don't have the link mounts tucked in the middle. Here we can actually show you them. I've got it all here. They're off to the side because it's a 4-link. So it's very similar. Unfortunately, man, why did they do that? Gosh. Why do you need a back and side to your servo tray? Why do you need to limit it to only fit your servo? That is a big fail. All right, I know something else I'm building. Son of a what? Gosh. They have to see the million videos where we cut all those pieces out of their plastic ones. One of the first upgrades is getting rid of that servo. And now you're selling an upgrade that only allows you to run that servo. Seriously. Ugh. I'm sorry. I sometimes I wear it all on my sleeve. That's just that's well, I was gonna show you the high hopes of an awesome right away servo tray you could buy to mount anything to, but because you're gonna want to get rid of that servo, I wouldn't recommend that brass servo tray. What a miss. What a miss. Ugh. It's needed in brass Hatfield Flightcraft. All the brass you can put down low, especially if you're not going to do brass axles. The batteries moved up. If you want, you're going to have higher weight because where the battery placement is going to be with the longer shocks, which give you more travel. But when we do longer shocks, we lay them down so they're not, which you don't have as many options with that chassis, I don't believe. So it's going to make it sit up a little. We'll look at the chassis here. But you do want, no, there's not mount. Mm, no, you can't. Um, I was going to say you could come down to this hole, but that's just going to lift it more because it doesn't go inward far enough. Yeah, unless you lengthen your links, going to that hole is not going to help you. I mean, I guess the other option is you cut some of the spring off it so it sits in more of a droop, or you put shorter springs on, so it'll sit lower, so that weight will just sit, but it'll give you that flex out of it. You'll still get the length benefit. Um, I can feel all the lines of this microphone in my forehead. I really did smack it good. Uh, yeah. No, you don't need. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely isn't needed in a brass tray. Yeah, those outside ribs are not necessary. You're totally right, Hatfield Flightcraft. My bad. Misunderstood. But you can see how I would misunderstand that. But I can now see how I misunderstood what you said as well. So, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like about it. So, and they do have upgrades, and a lot of them do look good. And the price is not terrible for them. Uh, well, $20 for one diff cover is a little high, but they do have their like logo machined into it, which is pretty cool. Doesn't say how heavy it is. Looks like an 8 gram. Oh, 6.5 gram. It's not even that much. It looks cool. If you like having it on there. Howdy, Toad Addy. Toa Daddy. Watching you while I should be working. Well, don't get in trouble with work. You need to have the job so you can buy one of these cool things. Also, if you don't have a local hobby shop, I do have links in the description here and on Facebook and all that. They're affiliate links. They do help the channel if you use them. Doesn't cost you any more. It just lets them know that you came into them and major purchase coming from here, basically. And so they say thank you to me. So also again, ccxrc.com have parts for it and the TRX AX24M. But what I wanted to talk about was this is my son's never used Bronco. And so I'm going to be doing a bunch of video series on this where I take it like it is now, stock. We show what it does, get a baseline for it, and then start doing the upgrades that I would do to one of these, um, kind of one step at a time. So one of the videos will be, one of the first things I do is the diff covers. I mean, normally I do, if it was me, I would do right away. I would do servo diff covers and wheels and tires, like straight away, boom, first thing. But we're gonna do it one at a time, kind of show how it helps a little bit. I probably won't ever do the brass axles for this because I'm not really gearing this toward people who would be doing comps with them, more for somebody that would just be driving 'em on trails or a little around their house kind of stuff. Because not everybody has comps, and so not everybody would need brass axles. So it'll be wheels, tires, servo mount, also to show, because I get this a lot, because with the servo mounts, most of the servos, big ones, don't fit on like the ones that are made for Emax. But for how long have these been out? 3 years, 4 years? For 4 or 5 years or so, um, we've been just kind of angling our servos on them, and they work just fine in this scale. Having that little tilt of sitting it up on the link riser, the two screw, don't really see any limit on the articulation from it. It works. It's not ideal, but other than that, you can buy like the best servo mount ever uh, from Mofo, or DSM Off Road sells some that are made in particular for the bigger, longer servos. But there's never been really an issue of just kind of either mounting your servo forward and screwing it in till it hits those. You can put spacers behind it, but you, again, don't need to. It can just be friction holding it there with the gap between the, just till it's tight. So there's things like that I'm just going to explain as I go, because it's one of the questions I field like all the time. Like, what servo mount works with these servos? Not many, but you can get them, or you can use your stock one and cut it and set it up on there, and it's fine too. Like, you don't have to do a metal one, but I just do it for weight. So anyway, I'll be going through some of that stuff as far as doing upgrades for it, showing how it works. Scale Builders Guild, what's going on, Matt? Awesome video, dude. That thing looks really cool, and I don't have one to show people, so you guys have to watch their videos to see the cool stuff. We're just talking about it from a standpoint of people who do all these comped out rigs that are kind of already doing what it does. Uh, so we're excited to not have to do as much of this on our own, right out of the box, having some of that performance for our crazy model train type addictive personalities that convert our houses over, so that if we ever have to sell them at like in a flash sale, people are like, what in the hell was going on here? Why is there this big mountain thing in the basement? So yeah, but yeah, Matt had an awesome video. I admit I watched your second, but it did open my eyes to a few things that I couldn't tell in Josh's video, like how the motor would fit a bigger motor. So yeah, but it looks like something like this size, we were just talking about it, you would know because you have one, would fit in there, where it's just that little bit longer um, size, but have so much more torque. So I should send you one of these. This is my baby Goliath motor. It's already brass, direct fit to the motor plate. Don't need to get other motor plates and stuff. But these add quite a bit more torque and that low speed control. But yeah, so that was my main question. I didn't want to ask you guys to go and look and all that in your comments and be that guy, but it looks like it'll fit. But I'll pay. You don't need to. I'll pay shipping. I got a whole shipping department over here nowadays. Hey Alexa, turn on shipping light. There it went. Can't see that. Alexa, turn off the shipping light. That's a little bit easier to see. Yeah, there's a whole. That's where the CCXRC shipping department is based on. Out of focus, overly lit. It's like super bright, like the sun over there. And I actually have it for my office light too above me. Like, Alexa, turn on the office light, because it's so bright over there that it feels dark here unless I do it. So, Alexa, turn off the office light. I hope you guys all have the same Alexa call outs in that it's totally tripping out your space. Alexa, turn off the office light. There. Thank you. She's a little slow sometimes. I haven't been paying her apparently very well. No Max Smasher video yet, Josh Martin. No, because I need to convert them motors. Like, it's right. I'm going to show it and never show it driving and say it's not worth driving until you put this motor in and then go for it. So, but yeah. So I'm a fan of STX24 stuff. It's helping pay my bills right now. So I'm really a fan of it. And I thank you guys for that. Lots of orders come in on the daily, and that's been really cool. I didn't ever expect it. We started with crush cars for 24 scale, which I can't even keep in stock anymore. And I got to keep going back and making them. But then diff covers, because I thought it looked cool to have a diff cover with my logo on it, right? Mainly for myself. And I was like, I'm willing to pay the premium to have my own diff cover. And if some people want to buy them too, then that'll help offset my cost for it, because I had to buy like 400 of them or something like that. It was a lot, but yeah. Anyway, fingers crossed, new Pro lines will be the ticket. Shocks should be a definite yes. TRX4M shocks could work. They could work. In fact, Scale Builders Guild, if you want, I'll reach out to you. I've got some cool TRX4M stuff that came into 56 grams of linkage goodness and stuff. Yeah. But RC Master, I'm an OG live streamer. Yeah, man, you've been around for a while. Anything with voice command get turned off. Alexa, turn off their whole house. You know what, Lyle? Dude, are you on? You're on Instagram. Message me on Instagram. I have to have some more coffee. It's one of those. I was up late. I shouldn't have been, but Jason's RC. It's a 24 scale freak from Grand Rapids as well. Has a basement course like the model train nut job RCers that I've been talking about. He's one of them, and I'm one of them. So I'm not saying that as a mean thing to him. Like, we are them. Like, most of us are those nut jobs that I'm talking about. So ASMR that. Um, but yeah, message me, dude. You've been a good dude to me. Giggity. Well, later. Phone is hot spot for laptop right now. Cool. So yeah. So in fact, if anybody's speaking of TRX4M, haven't seen this yet, how cool is that? So I like to have cool looking things with zero of the talent of, say, Matt from Scale Builders Guild. And so eBay is my friend. And JJ Custom Slot Cars had this. He also had a Camel trophy truck, which is a hard choice, but I have a Jurassic Park already that I did paint. I will say I did paint that one for the Gladiator, but this is pretty outfitted. I was going to look at the length of these shocks. I could probably look it up, but sometimes it's just easier to do things yourself. Of course, my calipers aren't in here. Son of a. I've been working on something else getting repaired because after last USTE, it got broked. It made it all through USTE, and then I had it set on my hood of my Jeep, which also is now broked, and this has apparently no drag brake, and it rolled right off onto the ground, and the front end came off. The back end bust. You can see it's even missing, but the back end broke off here where it's cut and bobbed, and It's like, son of a. Mm. You know, sometimes you just can't win. I'm looking for the calipers. It might be easier to look them up. You like the time? Yes. What's in the box? Oh, that was difficult. Things are difficult in my life right now. It is a good time for a stream. Bruce Stevens, you can do that interview and video on Jason's RC course before he takes it down. Yes. In fact, I have a nice Sony FS5 coming in the mail Friday, which would be good for that. Give me a second to find those stinking calipers. Stinking dang it. Well, I don't know where they's at. They should have been over here because I've been measuring so many things for 3D printing. And again, huge thank you to Matt from Scale Builders Guild for just being like, the only way you really want to 3D print is a Prusa. And I went from hating 3D printing to absolutely loving it and running my printers way too much. Well, guess, did anybody look it up and see? But yeah, this is a Furatech chassis as well. So everything, you know, it's not super scale anymore. You can see the shock angles and everything on it too is super flexy. Like, just to kind of do it up a little bit. It's probably too much actually for me, especially for a hard body. So one of the problems is when you have a hard body and you have flex, side healing ain't fun. Not at all. So Ender 3s work good. I know my brother's does, but it took him a lot of work to get it to there. Mine, I literally put it on the table and turned it on and made my print, and have been printing hundreds of them. No issue. So it's been good. Grizzly Works RC, yeah, with the number of, yeah, and if you know what you're doing, like the enders and stuff are awesome. I know a lot of people that do stuff really, really clean. I mean, my brother's ender's running so good right now. I just could never get. I've tried so many different printers and had no luck until the Prusa MK3S Plus. I have two of them now, and they're right beside my little light box, so I can do better product photos. And they had a blog post about the new Prusa XL. Not really what I need, but it's cool. TRX4M shock length is 93 millimeters ball end to ball end. That can't be right. Shock length front and rear 2 inches. Millimeters is 2 inches. 50. All right, so about 50. So it's pretty close. It would be a pretty much a drop on, and they're oil filled, and they have a ton of spring options already for them. So there was some funny stuff. I think it was Matt that actually was saying, and I think I called him Josh a second ago. Matt was saying that the box art was kind of throwing some salt in about the bearings all over instead of bushings. It's hysterical. But I mean, they can say they've got oil filled shocks. So I mean, they can throw shade at each other all day long. The other thing they could say is that they don't have rubber bands on their drive shafts that get knocked off when you go over rocks when you're crawling with it. Like one of the lowest drag parts on this is an O-ring that you just pull off and a pin pops out. Kind of a bummer because they even have that on their metal shock or metal links. But I probably on that particular truck, the AX10 or 24, I probably would do these Traxxas ones without springs on it and oil in them, heavy oil, so it's just slow, like very dampened, and because when I'm doing them, I'm usually just going very slowly over things. I don't really need suspension. The only thing is for side healing, and if I have a thick enough oil, it might give me enough time to get away with it. But yeah, opinion on larger tires on the TRX4M stock size tires. So here's the thing about the TRX4M. They're just awesome. Like as non-comp trucks, like just get one and just trail with it. Put in the low speed gearing and just have fun with it. Like there's so many good, like the body mounting option is awesome. I'm throwing more weight down low because of the hard body because I don't want to get rid of their bodies. Like on the other ones, the first thing I do with all of them is like change out the bodies on them, and do other things. And I don't want to do that with these. They're so nice looking that I just want to make them work and have more of a daily driver feel that's been a little bit souped up, so I haven't seen any competitions for them yet either, so that's part of it. At like 3 places I can go comp crawl my SCX24. So, have I got the lights installed in this TRX4M? No, because I can't do them all with my ESC being a Lizard Pro. I can do the little ones, but I can't get the other light kit to work from it for some reason. And I put a light kit in, and like Josh had happened to him with his AX10 out of the box, one of them wasn't working. So that happened with this. That happened with my light underglow Send truck. Lights hate me, and I hate them, and that's where we're at. We have this hate relationship, and I don't want to see them. They don't want to see me. And so straight away, what did I do with the TRX4M? When I unboxed it, I cut one of them and made it a padiddle. Only one of the fog lights is working because honestly, it made it more scale. Because up north, where the wind is cold and the roads are crap, fog lights usually only one of them's working. Bad roads, bumps. I don't know what does it. If something breaks the filaments in the light bulbs up here, like I've got a F250 2019, and I had 3 lights out on it since I've had it, and I've had it for less than a year. it's it's crazy. That's the one thing I miss about the South. As the 124 god of YouTube, I am not that. 2FM is much more of a 24 scale dude than me. I'd say Cape Crawlers now too. Like those two guys are killing it for the 24 scale stuff. I am an all around consumer of RC with a definite affinity toward the 24 scale, which started with the monster trucks and these. I had these, but when we really got into monster trucks, when I started buying parts for the monster trucks, and then I started, oh crap, I gotta redo the bead lock on this. And then I started getting into the diff covers and all that stuff, and then we started comping them up here. And once we started comping these, man, it's been so much fun. And finding the community for the 24 scale has been really cool too. There's a huge new model train community of 24 scale crawlers that is very, very cool. And so being a part of that. So we'll be doing, I need to talk to Axial. I really do want to put on a comp at Badlands and potentially on the West Coast too. If they wanted, I'd be willing to fly out and just do, they do like an hour at some of these where they have, G6 guys come in and do the comps for the 10th scale, but they're not like long. They start in the morning, they're done. So the trails are open. And I'd love to do that at Badlands for the 24th scale and just run kind of the rules that we do up here. modified a little like I did for the 24 scale comp at um, the Great Lakes Gauntlet, where we have a time limit. So you can't be more than 10 minutes. So you have like it's not about time. You're not trying to get the best time. You're trying to get the best score. But if you don't finish, any gates you have left are a penalty, 10-point penalty. It's like you hit them. So you definitely get points and you get a score, but in order to make things move along, we have to have a like a time limit to so people like me don't like just creep forever. Like I can spend 20 minutes on a course just because I like the way it looks going super slow. So, but yeah, I definitely want to see about that. Go man, go with the smiley laughing face. Is that about the Michigan road sucking? Eclectic electric RC. I can't get over how many RC YouTubers collect the number of RCs they have. Yeah, so that is something, man. That's something that I'm actually trying in some ways to get out of. I'm while collecting a bunch of 24 scale still. I'm trying to get out of collecting so many of the other ones and selling them. So the problem is you get views with new stuff. People want to know about it. So there's this like built-in desire to just buy it because you know that you're going to get a lot of views. And if you're trying to grow your channel, that's helpful. And so, I was talking with my wife about it last night too. It's like I'm really trying to get away from that. So there's going to be certain ones I'll definitely get because I want it. Like I want the AX24, not because of views, whatever. I want it because we want to comp them here, and I want to do the upgrades and put some of my parts on it. So that's another reason I'm partly drawn to. I mean, just being completely real. Uh, I have an interest in the 24 scale because I have parts for it, and that's kind of my niche as far as that goes. Like I'm not trying to do parts for other things. Like um, it's not as huge a market to get into, and so that's kind of why I started there was with mainly the monster trucks, and then kind of just morphed into the 24 scale and the 18 scale of the crawlers. Um, but yeah, so I definitely will be getting these just because they make sense from a business standpoint. But will the king get his own AX24? Only if it's 19th scale enough for him, but I can't. It's the wheels are pretty big. I think it's probably it could be a 19th scale just because of those tires being so large. I don't think you'd ever see that on a if that was 24 scale. But I think if it was 19th scale, it'd make more sense. But I'm not sure. So yeah. There's we collect them like Pokemon. Yeah, it does happen. And so now I've got a bunch I need to sell. Where's this Great Lakes Gauntlet you speak of? It is in Michigan, between Lansing and Grand Rapids. Um, so we'd say like West Michigan is what they call it here. They want to be their own state in many ways, I think. But uh, yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's Walter RC Park. There was there was a ton of people there. Like I've been to the Badlands and I've been to USTE, and those are huge. This is a big event. It's no joke. Like there was a ton of people at it, and everybody camps out, so it just feels like you're at a carnival. They have night activities and night runs and all kinds of fun stuff. They have the Purgatory, which is like a rock bouncing rock racer thing in the back, which is just carnage. Um, it's a fun time. So yeah, got to catch them all. So Master like Pokemon. I get it. Good. Light bars over lockers. I agree. Not at all with you, Alex. Light bars suck. Give me lockers. Um, Monkey has been sprinkling his channel with Viagra. No luck yet. It's still small. Oh, goodness. That's a good. Everything cool that's RC is in Michigan. There's a ton of RC in Michigan. And I was telling somebody, I'm pretty lucky in that I've got within about an hour and a half of me, hour and a half, probably 6 to 8 RC shops. More than that, maybe. There's a lot. Um, and several of them have RC courses and stuff to ride on. Oh yeah, there's actually a racetrack too here that I've never been to. That's not far from here. Grand River, something raceway, RC raceway or something. That's why I bought that TLR buggy, the dirt clay one, and I haven't built it. I have all the electronics to go in it. I need to build it. I need to go race it. But yeah, we've got a bunch. So for the people that don't have them, I do feel for you. It's even in Virginia, I had to drive a ways. I had about 2 of them within an hour of me. 3 at the end when we got Coastal RC Speedway. But Michigan in general is anything automotive, anything sport recreation vehicle, from boating to snowmobiling to off-roading to sand rails to, I mean, we've got sand dunes out here on the West Coast. We've got so much stuff, and the people are all in on it. Like, it's insane. Camping, the weather's awesome in the summer for camping. It's like warmish hot during the day for like the lake. Cools right down at night for campfires. It's fantastic. Yeah, 6 within 45 minutes, Hatfield Flightcraft says. So Hatfield Flightcraft is probably about 15 minutes from me. I bumped into him actually at one of the hobby shops at Ryder's Hobby Shop. But yeah. And actually, sorry, I forgot there's one in Holland too, Cobblestone, and they're only Traxxas stuff. But they need to be the ones to start the Traxxas comp for the TRX4M. I'd show up for that. Do it on Thursday. No, Thursdays are bad because we do the one at Reaction RC. I was just thinking that's when I go out to Holland every week for my kids' school. And then today I pick them up from school and we literally drive from there to Reaction RC dinner and then Reaction RC. Because they get out at like 3:40. So by the time we get out to Grand Rapids, it's about 5. We eat and we're at Reaction by 6. So tonight I'm bringing my big camera to Reaction RC. We're going to film some of this comp stuff and talk about how cool you know what? Go, man, go. I need to talk to you about some of your rigs too, if you're up for it. I'd love to get his rigs are some of the best ones out there. He won't give you all the secrets. I can guarantee you that because he doesn't want me to have them. Because I'm nipping at his heels every week to try and get that big debut. And so yeah, he won't give all the secrets, but he needs to show off some of his coolness in his trucks. But we have a good time. I mean, that's the best part about it is lots of laughs, lots of poking fun. He's the one. He's the one that I had the video titled about breaking the hearts of children. So yeah, it's good times. And I have a Matt Scale Builders Guild squeaky chair thing going on that's driving me absolutely crazy. You guys probably can't hear it. If you do, then you're also hearing the sump pump and all that going off right now. It's so loud here. All right, so back to this truck. Who's getting one? That's the real question. I want to know in the comments, is this for you? Is this not for you? Is Axial doing stuff that we want them to be doing? I know that the people that don't want them are not going to say that they're doing what they want them to do. But for you, and if you're in the chat, is this something that they've been listening and they've kind of got, holy crap, Grizzly Works RC? Holy moly. Getting one RC driver online. Look at this lurking in here. Good video, by the way, Greg. Good video. At least one, probably 2 from Go Man Go. I'm glad I know how to say that now. I've always GOM for NGO. Like NGO to me is like non-governmental organization, which is what I worked for my most of my adult life. I'll get one. JD's RC, Grizzly Works. I have 4 kids, so one of your kids isn't getting one. So you like 3 of your kids, and one of them is hated. Is that what I'm seeing? Grizzly Works RC. Do you hate one of your children? Not getting one. Saving up for SCX424 C10 someday. Bruce Stevens. I can get that. Like, it's not for everybody. I definitely think the 24 scale has something for it. And again, I mean, as good as I like this thing and just driving it for what it is, this smaller size definitely still has my heart. Like, there's just something about the teeny tiny ones. But I like that the 18 scale is growing. Hobby Plus and this TRX4M are definitely kind of next level for performance on them. So Matt Flanders, who also races with us, comps with us, thought it was pronounced Go Mango. Anyway, so this I'm going to turn into my Class 2 truck slowly over the course of building it up over the next couple weeks. It will get a body change, but I'm basically going to build it from stuff that I have in my shop, so I can also use those videos as links on how to install things. So I'm being smart there, if you get it. Jack's Food and Music. How's it going, Jack? Yeah, if you go out to Detroit, there's even more RC stuff, man. Up north, you've got it. There's just stuff everywhere. Matt is building a C3. Just straight up go to C4, man. Yes, Hatfield. The Hobby Plus Natamog looks great. Yeah, I cut that out of my video because I was like, it's kind of a Unimog. It's kind of like this other military front end. Like, I really like it, though. I like the cage rear on it. This is a bummer. The AX24 has too small a battery tray. You have to completely redo everything to fit a Furatech motor and 3S battery. I think you're going to have to build a whole chassis to do that. So I think you're going to see Mofo and Furatech designing stuff for these that are going to be to allow for their motor systems to work. So I look forward to that coming in the future, the near future, I'm sure. So, and they don't probably even have to have the trucks in hand to do it because, I mean, you basically look at the link geometry of it and you could build something pretty easily off the stock. I mean, technically, you could take this truck and drop it into some of the other chassis if you wanted, especially ones that have a freakish amount of options as it is. So, yeah, I don't think that's going to be a big issue for people that do want to do that and just get the 4 steer and stuff straight out of the box. Sushi Chopper, man, that's awesome to hear. Found your channel a while ago and now have 2 SCX24 there. My first hobby grade RC, and I really enjoy them. Yeah, you know, we did actually, now I think about it, we got into some of the SCX24 pretty early on. Once I realized that, so I've tried them for the 24 scale for a while, like, and I wanted to like them. I didn't get into it as early as the Proline one, the Ambush, I think it was, but we got into the original. We got the ECX ones, and I did not like them. I didn't like them at all, and so I was afraid to do the SCX24 after that because it was such a bad experience. But then I got the SCX24s and I liked them, and I started slowly upgrading them. But we did one of the earlier, like, how to use the plaster rolls to, like, how to make and form mountains and stuff for them. And at that time, I had to use other videos, like, from model trains and stuff, because there weren't a lot of people doing them for crawling. So that was a couple of years ago. So we did get in a little bit early with some of that. Now I think about it, how to build them for, like, your own indoor crawler course. Um, so I forgot about that. So I guess we have been into the 24 scale for a while, and it really took off when the monster trucks and stuff happened. But even in Virginia, we had a whole thing going with them, and we were trying to get it going at the local hobby shop there for like comps and courses and that. Uh, that ain't gonna happen, Alex, and you know it. I was just disappointed in the whole release. Kind of tired of small scale stuff. Would rather have seen a Yeti or Yeti Score re-release. I don't see them doing those again. Um, it'll be low C. Any of that stuff will come from low C. So there's not that many. When's the last small scale that Axial released? I mean, it's just been the Bronco, and that's just that they did a hard body. I mean, it's all the same, everything else except that Axial made their first hard body. Um, but they refreshed the deadbolts and that. I don't know. I makes me wonder where the 10 scale market is. Honestly, I know that the 24 scale market's off the chain right now. I can personally attest to it. With after this, I've got to do a lot of packaging stuff. I spent the past 2 days literally packaging items and stapling and pushing out. Pushing out these little tabs right here gets painful after about 5 hours of it. Your thumb gets really raw. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I get it. Not everybody's into it, and so this release is a nothing burger. If you were hoping for another big scale release, but they did another SCX6, and then again, what was the last one before that? Base Camp. So it feels like it's about time for the minis again, because I don't think they've had one since those other releases. And they refreshed the Deadbolt, and did they refresh the Honcho too? Did that get a refresh? Uh, Hatfield Flight Craft. I agree. They changed the name to Axial Adventure. I think all the racing stuff is gone. I think. Um, so yeah, but I think this is a huge market share for them. I think these things sell quite a bit. It's small. I mean, it's not big money, but I think it's smarter them to get into the upgrade parts for it too. Although that that servo mount, man, that hurts my heart. The mini Capra, yes. Okay, that's right. I did forget that. I meant to click on that, and the next one came up. But let's pull that up and just say, big letdown. Horizon needs to get their heads out of their butts. I don't think they see that this is a letdown. I think probably the sales that are hitting right now kind of makes them feel like pretty good about it. I'm guessing they're going to sell like crazy. So it's that unfortunate thing of what we want is what we think everybody wants. Um, and it's just kind of a hard, it's kind of like your worldview too, like how you see the world. You expect that a lot of other people see it like you do, and it's always crazy when you get the realization that it's not that way. And I get that too, even with some parts and stuff I buy. I'm like, everybody's gonna love this, and then it's like, nope. Maybe I was the only one that wanted this. But for instance, like the Unimog, like I think that everybody would want the Unimog as a SCX24. However, I see it from our standpoint of the guys that I comp with, but the general market of people that are going to buy these things every day, just on a shelf at a hobby shop, somebody's going to see this and be like, dude, you see that little Bronco? That's like the ones on the streets. That would be super rad to have. They don't see it the same way that we do. And so while it would sell quite a bit to people I know, that's a very small share of the market. Like the you guys, if you're in here watching this chat, you're a very small part of the market. We're not the people necessarily that they're even looking at as far as what people would want. So as much as we make videos and want them to follow and think about what we want, we are a very small fraction of the people, of the actual consumer. And that's where Traxxas gets it right. And we fuss and piss and moan about Traxxas and how they don't care what we have to say about things because their picture is way bigger than what uh we look at as far as potential customers. So yeah, we're definitely the minority of their buying market. And that's why the Jeeps and the Defenders and the Broncos that you see all the time end up on the shelves every time is because of that. And then they cater to us through Proline and through aftermarket bodies and stuff that we can buy. Traxxas necessarily doesn't, but the smaller companies, and honestly, it is the smaller. So it is funny that like Horizon now owns Proline, but Proline really was the smaller company that got big because they got as big as our minority, right? If we want to think about it that way, there's a far bigger market share out there that wasn't necessarily their target. They were like diving in on the guys that are the hardcore and want and need specific things, or they want to customize, or they want to, you know, the modelers, and so yeah, it's just different. So, and it's hard to think about it that way because again, we're looking through it through we spend way too much time honestly thinking about RC and all of this stuff, not in our minds, but the rest of the world probably thinks thinks we're weird. And doing a live stream right now for an hour and a half with you guys about this stuff, right? So, yeah, I mean, so that's the thing that we're up against, and the low price tag on these, I mean, it sells. Um, Also the portability, the indoor usage, especially in places where you're looking for something to do when it's cold out or snowy out. Proline got big due to quality of the product, right? But again, only to the people that are willing to customize, which is a much smaller market than the ready to run market of people that just buy it, destroy it, and then discard it. So the initial sales of stuff is what Traxxas is going for with that. So yeah, indoor usage has become more important the older I get. Matt Whitworth. Yeah. Lyle said something. I missed some comments. I guess I was on my rant. Grandparents buy these as gifts for their grandchildren. Yes. Um, yeah, Michael Hoyle. Lots of people buy the small stuff and never change a part. That's true. There's a lot of people that do change a parts too. Um, Maybe I just need to go to a different body than the Bronco. I just feel like that body is so used. It's so used, man. I'm with you on that. I'm so used. Going back to what I just said, though, that's the reason. Um, JDRCs, the letdown is it's not a letdown of a product, in my opinion. It's not like looking at there's a lot of positives. They didn't change everything. They kept it to a scale that's very popular and that's already doing comps and stuff, which is I think the biggest miss that Traxxas had. However, uh, yeah, Traxxas isn't trying to fit into our small niche of comping. Like it's such a small niche, but at least Axial kind of was there with that. Like they didn't change the axles, the transmissions, all the stuff that we have all this aftermarket for. They kind of stayed within that, and so in that way, it's a bonus to me. They did change up the chassis, the links, the shocks. They made it be flexy. Like Cape Crawlers could literally take it out of the box and do one of his photos with it and make it look epic, you know? In fact, I'm sure he will. And it'll look epic. Like he processes his photos awesome, you know, does it with good equipment, nice lighting, shows that flex, and it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be bad when he does it. So but he could do it straight out of the box. He doesn't have to do all the upgrades and stuff in order to get it to do it. And so that's one of the benefits and the cool things about it and why it isn't a miss. But for the people that are calling it a big miss, it's because it's not what they wanted. And so they can't just give it and say, you know, this is cool because it checks a lot of boxes for people. It's a total win for that reason. Because it's not what they want. They're throwing a temper tantrum. So um, just calling it as I see it. And that may piss some people off. But yeah. Uh Grizzly Works RC, it's the end of the day, it's a business. They're gonna go where the money is. They plan the market research to back up on this release. And it also it harkens back to the people that had the original AX10 and may just want it for like to go alongside it, to have it as a partner to their old one they have on the shelf. You know, so there's already a built-in buyer. P17 Betty, these things sold out. Um, there's a built-in buyer for it. Um, Trying to catch up here. Grandparents saw that already. Uh, Traxxas sell to people who eventually sell their stuff to us. Yes, we get a good discount on it. 75% of consumers want go fast RCs. There's that. Parents want cheap though to buy it as a gift. My kids, when they talk about them at school, all their friends are like, "Oh, yeah, RCs, you guys have a Traxxas?" Like that. They've got their name out there. I missed what RC Master said earlier. And a Tesla truck. Oh, I see. Um, Almost every RC YouTuber upgrades their stuff the second they can be bothered to do the video. You know, for my bashers, that's not me. Like, so many people buy the X Maxes and stuff, and they put in the biggest motors and whatever. And I think the X Max is pretty perfect out of the box. I wouldn't change it. Um, XRT, same, maybe tires, maybe pinion, but it doesn't need a different motor and stuff. Because the second they do, that's when they start blowing and complaining about diffs and bearings and all this other stuff. But man, if you run them stock, they run hard and they mine last. So it's weird. My bashers, I don't do upgrades on. Maybe servos. Usually servos. I do change the servos, but when they break, I run them pretty stock until I have to. But these, like, you pretty much have to. Like, this is the tippiest RC you could buy right here out of the box. Tall tires, narrow, hard body, that spare wheel on the rear. I mean, that's why we're gonna do an upgrade on that. Kevin Hardy is stoked for a new rig from Axial. I just want SCX24 Honcho, small curls RC. What would you want to see on a new 24? I would want to see. I like what they did, but it should have had a bigger motor for the cost of the motors. All of us nostalgic old farts. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Michael. Alex, dang it, let me have my temper tantrum. I just want a Yeti. I absolutely hated my Axial Yeti. I liked it the first month, and then I got kind of bored and kept like front flipping it and breaking the axles because it wouldn't backflip, so I'd front flip it and then I'd land on one axle and bam. But now that I know about the beef tubes, I kind of want one again to try with beef tubes on. The one thing that I wish Axial would have done is release a builder's kit or parts bundle options. Since most customizers get rid of 75% of it anyway. But customizers are less than 10% of the market, and so that's why they don't. They had a kit LMT. All of us monster truck racers wanted it, whatever. But then we're like, it's cheaper to buy the LMT with the radio and everything and just sell the parts I don't want than to buy the kit. So they get a lot of savings in having it come in a package deal. Just look at what happened in the last 24 release. People are crying for a 24 Rock Racer. Now they have it coming, and people are still complaining. It's different people, though. So the 24 scale, people did want to. They wanted something different, and then you know that, and so they were complaining then because they're all the same as CX24. Now it's a different crowd complaining, I think. But yeah. What are the potential of the lowriders niche? Red Cat has a monopoly on it right now. I think Red Cat's going to ride out that monopoly. Don't see many other people doing it. I think that it's big enough for them in it that they can make money, but I think that's about it. Oh, RC Amigos, Pablo. I get why they went 24. I do too. But I think they should have released it before Christmas. I do too. I agree it would have been nicer to have a faster 24. Just like they did in the 110, slow and some fast miles. I still think that a rock bouncer, like a Rift 24, would be wicked. However, I don't see it going that small because of I think that's a whole new axle design, and there's a whole lot of things. The faster thing's a bit problematic with these if they want to keep using the same axle sets. So it would have been more build, I think, than even this is from the ground up. And the only other way to do that, though, would be to put, and it actually would make it faster, is to run like the 12-2 ring and worm gear and or worm gear setup, the 12-2, because it does kind of roll out. So you get the speed and you get some rollout. They could probably do a Rift with it because honestly, the Rift, they have the drag brake on out of the box, and that's it's like having a worm gear out of the box. It's tough to drive if you're used to driving other fast cars. Jegs Hooligan can become crawler. Yeah, you need some lockers though on that. That is a big problem because they tried to run that on the all that setup, pretty much the same exact thing in the F450. And I got one of the early test models, and I was like, if anybody tries to go off road with this and they get one wheel off the ground, like there was no power anywhere because it was a open center diff and open diffs, and so one wheel in the air, you weren't going anywhere. Trash tracks is all you want. Every RTR have from Traxxas is quality and have original parts. Can't say that for a single Axial RTR. I don't agree that Axials are cheap quality. They're different. Axial stuff is more scale. Traxxas stuff isn't scale, except for their crawlers. But even then, I think it's pretty close. Especially if you do like the more expensive Traxxas crawlers, you run into a lot of like the servo malfunctions for then the diffs and whatever. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it really comes down to what you buy. Um, but I actually like my Axial crawlers too. I like them both, to be honest. I think they both have pretty cool stuff. Should Axial do a 124 monster truck? No, I think Losi should keep it in and because it would need an actual redesign. So if I wanted anybody to do it, I'd want Losi to do it. I don't know that they'll be able to get it. I mean, even if they did it this size, I'd be pretty happy with it. So because with this, the axles are a little bigger, and you got the shocks and everything that are oil filled. So it's hard to do that when you go in the actual 24 scale size. So even if they had to step it up, they wouldn't necessarily have to do the body this big, but they could do the axles about this 18 scale size, and that'd be pretty rad. Last two Axials do look like WL toys. I don't think that the Capra does in person. The photos of it didn't look great. A Rift 24, please. Hatfield Flycraft. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Or Rock Ray. Yeah, RC Amigos. Um, a mini Rift would be like an 18th Capra. Probably. I think so. Oh my gosh, my Rift Matt Whitworth is a handful since I got Mambas and Crush Locks. I really want those. They look so good. Matt, you don't even know I was looking for that on this. Pablo had sent me this body site, and I was looking at the minivans on there, and also that Astro van. I did look, you guys, for those that were wondering. It is an all-wheel drive Astro van that's for sale over here. So pretty tempting. But yeah, winning comps and handing out juice boxes. So then, a super realistic is anyone who owns a 101 trucks never put lockers in them to go off road. Yeah. Mine has rear lockers. My F250. Um, Lucy made a small scale monster truck a long time ago. Yes. So Alex now wants a 12 scale, the CR12 re-release, or maybe make it a little smaller. So the Element, man, I wish I could talk to them about a re-release of theirs. Like, there's so much potential from them, but that thing is just, um, if they could make it more like their 24 scale or their 10 scale stuff is awesome. I love their crawlers. Uh, well, I only have one, but I love what people do with their crawlers at our local comps. They really get a lot out of the Element stuff. There's so much customization that can be done. The Element 24 scale based off the RGT, the electronics are bunk. It almost feels like they're not proportional. Like, it feels one speed. Like, there's no control. Um, so yeah, I wish that they would have. The Ecto especially. I wanted that to be so good. And when I saw it was the same thing but with an Ecto body, I was pretty disappointed. But yeah. What's the deal with Capra being discontinued? Is it true? I don't know. I haven't heard about it. Isn't the associated 112? Yeah, it's like the RGT Thunder Tiger, kind of all the same thing. Let me try and pull it up here, but with better bodies. Uh, Definitely the RGT. Yeah, it's like the FMS 112 Toyota FJ. Oh, that's the FMS. That thing's wicked looking. But they had like the Defenders and all that, the Banggood Land Rovers or RGT. They have a 124 scale like Defender, but I think it was Jason's RC that uh was playing with one of those last night. But yeah, the old 12 scale like Tioga Trail and all that were pretty cool. And I know that here in Michigan, I'm blanking on his name right now. I'm picturing his face, but he does a lot of, it's like four-wheel drive off-road. Who is it? Sorry, I'm trying to look stuff up right now. Let's name. He does a tractor company too. Why can't I think of his name? He used to be on the Tank RC all the time. 4 by 4 or something. 4 by 4 off road. Extreme RC 4 by 4. That's it. Ethan. So yeah, here and actually he's the one that did. I think even Harley talked about it. One of his metal bodies that he made. But he used to do a ton of stuff for that CR12. Hatfield says he's making his Phoenix look as much FJ45 as he can. Um, FMS is making some of the best hard buys. Yeah, they're man, that FJ45 is awesome. Joshua Davison, you were so right about the Ecto, but on 2S it does move a bit. Yeah, it moves. It's quick, but the modulation is terrible on it. Like from like slow speed crawl to fast, like there's like not much in between. It's like all or nothing. Most people that I know end up putting in a an Axial ESC receiver combo in it so they can have more control over the motor. Because it has a bigger motor in it than the SCX24. It's just no control of it. The ESC is junk. Um, so let me see here. I'm gonna throw him up here. Show Ethan stuff because he did a bunch of stuff for the CR12 in the past. Um, so now he's got this aluminum bed kit for the UMG 10. That's pretty cool. Dang, I like that. So, but yeah, back in the day, he had so much. But yeah, so here's his aluminum snap-on wrecker that he's converted. Super cool. And then he done the Jeep one, like here, yeah. Oh, Ludington's calling. I have to tell him I was in the middle of a stream. Ludington RC Hobby Shop. Yeah, look at that. Pretty cool. So I think that got picked up on um, Scale News Update and talked about. But he had. Where's all that stuff? It'd have been way back in the day, I guess. But he used to have all the CR12 upgrade parts and stuff to make him better. Oh yeah, so here's where it's talked about the Brutus TRX4 on the Scale Builders Guild or on Scale News Update. Oh well, I don't see it. But you just have to take my word for it. He had a bunch of stuff for the CR12 back in the day when he was on the Tank RC live streams. Here it is. Check out this four-wheel steer CR12. Is this one too? Yeah, CR12 FJ flatbeds that he had. Aluminum. Sorry, I can't see the comments right now, guys, because it's covering it. Well, it just went back to the top. We done. We're done. The I only want to get the mini ecto body. It's pretty cool. Yeah, they sell it separately. I have one of them to put on my SCX24. Last I remember, the CR12 is still available on the Associated site. Well, let's go and see. How good is your memory, Pablo? We're about to put that to the test. Is he crazy? Let's look at cars. How do you get around this site? Shop. I think it was still Team Associated. Cars and trucks. CR12 to a trail truck. 185. Add to cart. Do they have the Toyota? Keep on scrolling. Scroll. Man, that Apex is cool. Don't see the other ones, but it looks like you could still get yourself that one. Now, the question is, could you find yourself the body for the FJ? Do they sell the body? Parts and accessories. Let's look for CR12 body. So there's the CR12 too. That's it. CR12 A45. Man, that FMS looks good. Discontinued. Some local shops got to have it sitting somewhere. You just know it. eBay. Ooh, 279. CR12 FJ45. Now you just got me curious. No. Man, do I keep landing on that FMS and wanting one. All right. I think we're going to wrap up here, guys. I'm excited about this thing. So I know not everybody is. Not everybody's going to be excited about a bunch of RCs. Jeremy Smith, what's up, man? I'm going to give you a call today. I got kind of the kids are off at school today. This is one day where they are in class. The rest is at home. So I got to catch up on a lot of work stuff, but I think I'm also going to start the video on this, the video series. Oh, hit the mic on the upgrades of this. Because it doesn't get used ever because it doesn't handle. So we're going to show how to make it handle better if you have one, and also use that as a way to show how different parts work that I have in the store, so I can use the links on how to install and do different things as well. So it's kind of a dual purpose build series, and yeah, we're going to make it like a class 2 truck, brushed. Because I think, these baby Goliaths, I haven't talked to them about them a bit. They've been sold out, which is probably good that I haven't been talking about them a bit, but it definitely slowed down. I still think it's one of the better options for just a direct replacement motor. Really good power, really smooth, and direct fit. Like, you don't have to do anything. Just screw it on there. You might have to reverse it. Like, I told them about that, and they said, well, we'll change it from this last time. But I swear it's like half of them were normal and half were reversed. And so I went in and manually took them apart and switched the wires and the ends on everyone, and that sucked. So I'm going to make a video on how to do that if you get it in reverse and you need to switch it. But, the V2 makes it so easy, just flip a switch. But if you have the V1, it's a little trickier. But yeah, so we're going to do that, and then we'll get one of these AX10s. There's a little birdie that says I may pick one up in Indianapolis at Monster Jam, so we'll see. I'm going down to Indianapolis for Monster Jam. I get to see Son of a Digger driving, Ryan Anderson, and the whole crew he's traveling with. So excited about that. I think Barry's on his tour, Tyler Meninga. So should be a good time. Should be an awesome event. So then I'll hit up the Detroit one. Adam Anderson is going to be running that one, and the whole crew that they run with, Bryce Kinney and all them. So yeah. And then I'm also going to hit the one in Grand Rapids, which will be like Weston Anderson. So, yeah, I got lots of fun Monster Jam stuff coming up in the next, February and March. So it's going to be an awesome 2 months, and see if we can't get some of them doing some mini crawling and stuff. So I was texting Weston like, dude, you got to come, like, bring your mini. We'll take it up to the course here and run it. So we'll see if he's game for it. But yeah. So uh, until then, get your stuff on order. I got links, and Lyle, message me. Go Mango. I'll see you tonight. I need to bring the Thunder apparently, and I need to bring charged batteries. So that's something else I'm going to do here. So yeah, cool. Bring a camera, David Laverne. Yeah. So what's in the box? Be in Sweden for Monster Jam in February. Very cool. TRX4M drive shafts from CCXRC, please. Monkey. In the works. So I have several drive shafts that I need to get. So some of the companies I've dealt with, I just got some. All they had was the deadbolt of all things. And then another company I dealt with stopped carrying deadbolt length ones, and they only did Gladiator ones, which actually work for the deadbolt, but under full compression. If it's straight full compression, it kind of they hit, and so they either need to be ground a little bit or not fully compressed. But it's like annoying. Like I wanted one that could be both, and or three. It could work with the wheelbase, which I prefer, which is the deadbolt rears with the C10 fronts. That's like my go-to. And so I was trying to buy that, and they messed it all up on me, and they sent me all the same ones that work for the Gladiator. It's all the same. So except that it doesn't do the deadbolt length rear. It's just hits. So I have to hit it with the grinder for 2 seconds and it fits, but it's just annoying. So anyway, I'm trying to find a company that'll work with me on the sizes that I want. And then we'll have those going as well. And then also the stuff for the TRX4M. But I want it to be more like what we have for the AX24 and less like what Traxxas did with an O-ring. No O-rings, all screw in. So yeah. What's in the box? Oh, that's awesome, dude. First channel you subbed back in the day. That's wicked. Now you're everywhere, dude. Now you got your own channel. Bring in the killer content with the X Maxes and all the stuff you got going on. Very cool. Scaled RC. I'm gonna go invade those FB groups. I can't wait to say how much I'm excited about the AX24 and just let them have it. They won't let them have it, but they'll just make nasty comments toward me, and I'll just giggle about it and not care. I've gotten pretty numb to those comments because I get a lot of them through YouTube and Instagram and all that, and then just delete them. So I laugh, I delete it. Every once in a while, one will get me where I'll respond. Pablo knows I send them the responses, and then I've deleted them. Just because I shouldn't engage, but sometimes it's just tough not to, especially when you have something really funny to say back. But yeah, it's not good in the grand scheme of things to engage in that kind of stuff. Better to delete and pretend it never happened. So yeah, anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, have fun RCing. Axial, thank you for, at least from the 24 scale world, thank you for a release that's different, and that's something that we've been looking for as far as what we're building out of these. I feel like as much as people say that you don't listen, and I feel like maybe you weren't listening on the servo mount, but on the rest of the truck, I feel like there's a lot of things that you were listening on, and you gave us something that we're interested in, which is actually something you'd done many years ago, and it's just kind of coming back around. So very cool. Don't do it, RC Amigo says. I want to go to those groups. But yeah, there's definitely a lot about the truck to like. We'll cover you on the steering servo mount. We'll kind of make our own, and yeah, we'll get it right. So, and luckily, the way that they mount, it looks like it should work with the longer ones, like the Mighty Chihuahua, because of where the upper links attach. So we shouldn't have that riding on the link issue. But yeah, lots of cool stuff in it. And yeah, some of us are excited more than others. And I know you guys get the hate all the time, so you're used to it, Axial. It's a cruel world out there, especially on the internet. And everybody has opinions, and there's a various types of opinions out there. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. It seems to be working, and we're excited about it. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. See ya.